Stoicism is a 2,000-year-old philosophy that helps direct your actions and thoughts in an unpredictable world. Often referred to as a practical philosophy, Stoicism can help anyone navigate the challenges they encounter in life. Stoicism is a tool that can help us better deal with life's inevitable ups and downs so that we can live a happier and more peaceful life. But most importantly, Stoicism has some valuable lessons that we can apply to become better men, better partners, and better parents. Here are 8 of the most important life lessons from the Focus on what you can change and don't worry about the things you can't. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. As parents, I think this philosophy is particularly useful. There are so many things we can worry ourselves sick about, which if you actually examine them are probably out of our control. By focusing our energy only on those things we can influence and not worrying about those which we can't, we can be more productive and less stressed. Appreciate what you have. This is a simple lesson, but one that's very important to remind ourselves of. It's even more relevant in today's society, which has become very materialistic. Practicing gratitude every day has been shown to increase happiness, and it makes sense because it forces you to focus on the things you have, instead of focusing on the things you don't have. Obviously, this is also a great attitude to try and ingrain in our children. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he is not, but rejoices for those which he has. You never stop learning. It's an important lesson to remember, particularly if you find yourself getting a bit arrogant or righteous at times. There is no such thing as the perfect parent or the perfect partner. We are continually evolving and learning lessons as we go. So it's important to keep an open mind and allow ourselves the freedom to learn and improve. It's also important to approach life with curiosity and assume that everyone you meet may know something you don't. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. This is an important lesson for us men to remember. Whilst resilience is important and a bit of male pride can be a good thing, we should never be too proud or too macho to ask for help. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful Roman emperors to ever live. Yet even he recognized the importance of showing vulnerability and accepting other people's help. Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill, just like a soldier on the wall of battle. So what if you are injured and can't climb up without another soldier's help? Treat every problem as an opportunity. This can be a hard one to practice, especially during difficult situations, but that's when it is most important. This second lesson from the Stoics relates to the first one, above. Because while you can't control everything that happens to you, the one thing you always have control over is how you respond to a situation or a problem. By adopting this attitude, we can turn life's obstacles into opportunities, and we can embrace life's challenges as a way to advance and improve. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Bad things happen. Don't be surprised. Be prepared. Whilst this sounds like a very depressing way to live your life, the principle behind it is a good one. It means that when we do encounter some of life's inevitable setbacks, we are less likely to collapse into a quivering mess. Instead, we are prepared and ready to respond in the most positive way possible. In our personal lives, I think a very practical application of this principle is with regards to your marriage or your relationship. It's easy to be romantic and think yours will be different, and hopefully it might. But the reality is that about half of marriages end in divorce, and almost all of them encounter problems at some point, particularly after kids arrive. By being aware that this is likely to happen, you can take preemptive steps to help reduce the risk, e.g., not taking your relationship for granted. You can also be better prepared to work through the inevitable problems when they do arrive. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Don't fear death. Use it to give your life value. When the Stoics weren't meditating about everything that could go wrong in their lives, they also spent a lot of time reminding themselves that they were going to die. You may be thinking what a morbid and miserable bunch of people the Stoics must have been, but apparently, that was not the case. Much like the previous example, the principle behind this practice is a positive one which is designed to increase happiness. Being aware that we are going to die and that it could happen at any time is intended to deliver two important benefits. Firstly, we should not fear death, because we all die eventually and it's going to happen regardless. See Lesson 1. Don't worry about things you can't change. But secondly, and more importantly, it gives our lives a sense of purpose and urgency by reminding us not to waste the precious time that we do have available. Make the most of every day. As each day arises, welcome it as the very best day of all, and make it your own possession. We must seize what flees. Maintain perspective and see the bigger picture. This is a very useful technique to remember when you are getting stressed about something in your life. The idea is to remind yourself that at the end of the day, we are all very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Therefore, most of our problems are also insignificant when you put them in context of the bigger picture. So take a step back and realize that nothing is ever as important as it seems in the moment. Think of the whole universe of matter and how small your share. Watch your words. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue, Zeno wrote. You can always get up after you fall, but remember, what has been said can never be unsaid, especially cruel and hurtful things. So friends, how did you like the life lessons of the Stoics? Tell us by commenting and giving the video a like. Also, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that all our upcoming videos reach you first.